Hello, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Amanda Holmes, CEO of Chat Homes International, and we are here with Deberah Bringelson. Deberah, it's been such a pleasure over these last two videos to really peel back the curtain that creates massive amounts of growth, and the amount of value that we've given has really just been spectacular. I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars go into these relationships, and yet we want to give it to you for free. How amazing is that?
It's pretty amazing, Amanda. I mean, I can't believe the quality of the content that we've been talking about. I mean, if people go back, and have you gone back and watched video 1 and video 2, because we've really started you down the path to capturing those profits that you're missing right now. You remember in video 1, we talked about the buying pyramid, that brilliant buying pyramid that Chet Holmes designed many years ago, where we talked about how most people are missing out on 90% of their revenue. I mean, can you imagine that, Amanda? If you're the CEO of a company and you're making, let's say you're making $2 million, and that's only 10% of what you should be bringing in. Can you imagine what that would do to your life if you changed that?
I've seen it with many of our clients, so I can, but for a lot of people, it's that mindset shift, which is so much about what we're going to talk about today, right? All of these great strategies and tactics. This one is just so brilliant, and it stands the test of time in every medium that you could possibly think of for marketing and sales. But today, what we're going to talk about is something that if you don't have this right, all of this doesn't matter. So keep going.
Okay. Yeah. So in that first video, you know, we talked about, as I've got it here on my screen, the buying pyramid, and most people are making their money at the top 10%. And we showed you an easy formula to increase your revenue by 4 times. So that is definitely something, if you missed video 1, please go back and take a look at that. And then in video 2, you know, a lot of people say, okay, well, I get the theory, but how do you actually make that happen in reality? And so we showed you how you take that theory and you turn it into reality. And we use the example throughout this entire series. We're talking about one client because we want to have a cohesive understanding. We talked about one client who, for an entire 12 months, made $0. And at the end of 12 months of using these strategies, she increased her revenue 3,546%. And so in video 2, we showed you the reality of how she used things like diabetes, heart disease, and stroke to sell houses, which sounds crazy. So if you haven't watched video 2, please go back and watch that. But what we're going to talk about today is what happens when you're doing all of those things that you're supposed to be doing. You're, you've got the strategic messaging in, you've got the educational sales in, you've hired the superstars, you've trained your team, and money still isn't coming in. What do you do then, besides panic? And here's what happens. Most entrepreneurs and CEOs, when they get in a situation like this, they have a little bit of, shiny object syndrome. It's like, oh, okay, well, I tried that. It didn't work in the first 5 minutes, so I'll go try something else. Or they panic and they get frozen. And that's something that, fortunately, this could have happened with this CEO. It could have happened with many CEOs that I worked with. But what the benefit of having a relationship of somebody who has been there before, knows what they're doing, they can help pull you along and keep you from panicking and keeping you from that shiny object syndrome. But let's talk about, when you're moving forward and you've got all these things in place and nothing seems to be working. Let's talk about why. Are you up for that?
Oh, I'm up for it, Deborah. Give it to me. Give it to me.
Okay. So, I've been growing businesses around the world for about 25 years now, and it always comes down to this when things aren't working. And, I love this quote from Barbara Corcoran, from ABC Shark Tank. I'm a Shark Tank fan. I don't know if you are. But, Barbara talks about the biggest challenge in business isn't your competition. It's that voice that's inside your head, and it's hard to shake those messages that we grow up with. So for those of you who are watching this, look at these comments and see which ones resonate with you. And you know what? Nobody's there. You're not answering to Amanda or to me. Answer honestly to yourself. Did you grow up with a feeling of I'm not good enough or smart enough? I speak to audiences around the world, and when I ask people, what's the number one thing that you say to yourself that is holding you back? There's always some element of I'm not enough, whether it's good enough or smart enough or capable enough, pretty enough, thin enough, whatever it is. There's always some element of that. And what happens is those thoughts that are running through your head or running through your body, and we're going to talk about the difference in a few minutes, those limit your ability to be successful. And it's not just you, it also can be a member of your team. So we've been talking about Zaya, for example, and I was doing a training with them one day, and I had the whole team around, and there was one woman who was actually in a leadership position on the team. And she did not feel that she was capable of handling her own money. She was in her 30s. I don't remember exactly how old, but her father handled all of her money because she felt that she was destined to be poor and she wasn't able to handle money. So her energy about being poor translated to the team. It was a huge issue on our team. So if you or a member of your team have the belief that you're not good enough personally or smart enough personally, or if you have the belief, I have to really struggle, a lot of us were taught, I've got to work really hard in those 80-hour work weeks. And believe me, there was a time when I bought into that personally. But if you have those beliefs, those are going to limit your ability to be successful. Another great one that reminds me a lot of your dad, Amanda, the economy is killing us. I remember hearing your dad one day talking about, some of the most successful companies ever in the history of the world made money when the economy was tanking. They made their billions when the economy was tanking. Now, of course, none of us are going to wish for the economy to tank, but if you set yourself up right and you've got the right mindset, you can be successful in any economy, but you have to believe it. Does all that make sense?
Oh, it makes so much sense. I can think of when I first took over Chat Homes International, and I thought, I'm 24 years old. How can I run this company? All of my consultants and coaches are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, double, triple my age. But it just took changing my mindset, and that's what I did with my coach. I got that assistance through.
Yeah. And, I think you bring up a really important point. One of the reasons why Nadia was able to be so successful and these clients are able to be so successful, as I said before, when they get to that point of, oh my gosh, nothing's working, what do I do? Having someone who can pull you out of that. Hey, I am a member of a mastermind personally. I use coaches myself because, I tend to be really good at figuring out how to solve the issues for other people, for my clients. But when it comes to myself or my own business, sometimes I just don't see it. So, having that person or people who can help lift you out of that, for me, has been vital.
Huge.
But, I love this quote about self-doubt. Some people are like, self-doubt, it's not that big a deal. I'm going to power through. And what happens with self-doubt, whether it's your own or people who are in your company, if people doubt themselves, they become protective. They won't live outside of the bubble of protection. I've got to do this carefully because I can't make a mistake. And it becomes a habit. They start handicapping themselves. They procrastinate, and those strategies kind of take over their life, and they can take over your business. So, for people who are thinking, oh, you know what, I don't know, this isn't hardcore business stuff. As Barbara Corcoran said, this is the hardest core business information that you can take in.
Well, Deborah, I mean, I can't wait for you to tell them the story about what happened with Nadia, because that's a perfect example of when you shift your mindset, the power of that.
So as we've talked about in these videos, we got all of our business tools in place. The money wasn't coming in, and I was stressed. I mean, she was stressed. I was stressed. I'm like, okay, what is the problem? What am I going to do? And I'd gotten to know her over, about 6 months or so. And I said to her, I said, I think that there's an issue that you're blocking money. You don't have a belief, and there's an energy that you're putting out that you're blocking money. And it's funny. She recognized it right away. She was like, yeah, you're absolutely right. And I said, well, I have some tools that we can use to get past this. And so she jumped on it, and we did, and we cleared away the energy. And one of the things that I learned from her is she grew up in a very wealthy family, and she felt that she'd never done anything to earn her wealth. So she felt she didn't deserve it. So we did some energetic exercises, and in a moment we're going to do a little bitty taste. We can't do, an hour or two of process, but we're going to do a little taste of what it feels like to shift energy. But we did some work in this area, and as soon as we popped that bubble of not feeling good enough, that's when the money started to flow in. So we met, we did a little work, and within a week, she had brought in $298 million.
Woo! So let me get this straight. 6 months in, this was after 6 months of working with her, and you hadn't produced not one sale.
Yes. Yes.
And then that week, you worked with her, and then you created $298 million.
Right. And as you can see from the quote from her is, it was an energetic shift. So I'm going to take a quick sip of water. How would you like to do a real quick experience of what the shift feels like?
Me.
Okay. Cool. So why is this really important? And if you can see this image on my screen right now, what happens is when you're interacting with people, you're sending out energy. And this is scientifically proven. This isn't just, woo-woo. There's science behind this, that we're all moving energy and we're sending out energy. And people may not know why they're feeling your energy or why they're feeling a certain way about you, but they are feeling it, and you can be repelling them by the beliefs that you have and the energy that you're sending out. And so if you're sending out an energy of fear, then what happens is they're feeling that fear. Or if if you doubt your product, they may not know why they're feeling this, but they're feeling the energy of you doubting your product or doubting yourself or whatever. And this energy, this fear, is like an electrical storm. Remember the days, any of you who are as old as I am, remember the days of transistor radios, and there would be an electrical storm and it would make it crackle? Well, that's what happens with your energy. So, in your head, you're sending out this energy. Yes, I've got all these new things going, and I'm going to make lots and lots of delicious money, but in your core, in your body, you're feeling a fear. What if I'm not good enough? What if I'm not smart enough? What if I can't do it? And your prospects are feeling that energy too. So one of the things I like to do is to clear that out. So I want everybody to stop for a moment, and I want you to think about something that is negative in your life or that you're afraid of in your life. Think about, something in your business that's not working well, or it could be even a relationship that's not going well, but there's some fear that you're feeling. Everybody got that, you know, something that's really causing you some anxiety right now. So I'm not going to leave you there because I don't want you to sit with that. But when you're feeling that, your prospects are feeling that also. So everybody take a nice deep breath. And I want you to call in the energy. And this isn't a thought in your head. This is a feeling in your body. I want you to call in the energy of joy, the delicious energy of joy. Remember an experience that you had that was pure joy, like when you held your child for the first time, or when you splashed in the ocean, or you did something really incredibly fun. Feel that energy of joy. Can you feel it in your core? Can you feel it in your gut? Allow it to expand up and fill in your heart. And now just let that delicious, fabulous energy of joy fill your entire body. So, did you feel that, Amanda? Did you feel the shift?
Yeah.
How did that feel for you?
I felt like an ease come over me. Like it just felt like everything, it was a rocky storm that went shh.
So when you're feeling that fear and tension, and you know, you may fluctuate with it throughout the day, what happens is you're reacting and making decisions from fear or feelings of not good enough. So this is just something that's really quick that you can do throughout the day. And the reason that it works is every energy is on the vibrational scale. So fear is really low. It's got a low energy. Joy is actually near the top. And what happens is if you start allowing yourself to open up to some experiences that are beyond the fear, beyond the feeling of not good enough, that's when the magic starts to happen and opportunities start to happen. So that was just a little tiny taste, Amanda, but that's the kind of thing that we did, that Nadia and I did. We did a couple of sessions of that. And as I said, literally within a week, the money started to flow in. And you know the rest of the story, once we pricked that bubble and popped it, it wasn't just the first 298 million. You know, we were at the end of 12 months, we'd increased the revenue by 3,546%, or $602 million.
Wow. And for those of you that are the smaller, you know, but I'm only $1 million, but I'm only 5, you know, they started from zero. So it really, all of these concepts are something that can apply to smaller companies and larger companies. And for everyone that is enjoying these videos, we will give you an opportunity to be able to have that experience. But we'll be talking about that in the webinar, so you have to make sure you attend.
Yeah. Oh, we should talk about that, the webinar that's coming up. You know, one of the things that I think we both wanted to do is we wanted to be able to help people understand how to make the shift, both in the business sense, but also in their beliefs, and shift their own energy. And so what did we say we were going to do in the webinar, Amanda? Aren't we going to actually do like a live mini mastermind?
Yeah. For those of you that do masterminds, you know the power of that. And for those that haven't, we're just going to give the opportunity to a select few to come up and talk about your business. We're going to talk a little bit about messaging and how to make sure that your marketing messaging is doing what we talked about in the first video of expanding 4 times. It's going to be really, really powerful. What I found from our previous masterminds is that sometimes when you're being worked on, it's you get those great gems, but even more priceless are when you hear other business owners and other leaders in organizations talk about what's plaguing them and then assisting them to solve their problems. So it's a really powerful exercise that everybody definitely, especially if you're thinking, wow, I'm really resonating with this, I could really use some of this assistance, that's why we're here. So I know you're all probably wondering, okay, what are the next steps? How do I get this implemented into my business? Are you going to give me a blueprint or a framework or a template or something? What's those next steps, Deborah?
Well, we're going to do a couple of things. One is we're going to host a free mastermind group. It's going to be a webinar, but it's going to be far more than that. It's an actual mastermind. We're going to pick a couple of people out of the audience, and we're going to invite them to be in the success seat or the hot seat, whatever you want to call it, and actually work on your business. Now, Amanda and I are both huge fans of masterminding. I'm in a mastermind. She's been in masterminds. And one of the reasons that we really like it is I find that the people who are in the hot seat get a lot out of it because you're working on their specific business. But what's really interesting are the people who are participating, they're not on the sidelines. They're right there. And here's what I find is because they're not sitting in the hot seat trying to, think about their own issues and solutions, their mind is more relaxed. And they're able to come up with some brilliant aha moments for themselves. So we're going to actually do this live. And for everyone who attends, I'm going to give away a copy of my book, 7 Keys to Success, and it is that framework. It's the steps that Nadia used. It's the steps that I used myself, actually.
Beautiful. And I love, so what we're going to do is we're going to tie back the last 2 or 3 videos into this mastermind online to talk about, like we were saying, how to 4 times your revenue just by changing that buyer's pyramid, right? Opening it up to the 40% as opposed to the 3 or 7%. And then going into a bit more tactical of, okay, how do you implement this into your sales teams, into your marketing collateral? And I have to say that every single client that I have seen Deborah work with, it has just been amazing at the results that she creates. And that's why we put together this video series, is I wanted to give you that experience of one of our CHI certified growth specialists. And she is definitely that top echelon. So you really don't want to miss being there live.
Well, and I think the important point, Amanda, is that we're going to start tying it all together for people. So, think about it this way. Think about if you have your business is struggling or you're wanting to grow and you're going down one path or you're hanging from one thread. But what if you had multiple threads that you could weave together? The business strategies, marketing, sales, and you had the success tools like time management and how to do great presentations. And then you also had the, secret sauce of quantum physics, the understanding how your beliefs shape your reality. Last night I was reading Think and Grow Rich. I don't know how many of our in our audience have read it, but it's one of my favorite books. And a lot of these concepts of managing your thoughts, managing your energy, that was from, the early 1900s. So what if you weave all of that together? That's why the growth isn't, like this, it's more like this. And that's what we're going to be tying all together for people in this webinar.
Beautiful. So you can go ahead and go down below and register. And at the end of the webinar, we're also going to give you an opportunity to take part in something that we've been creating. And, well, I don't know how much we should reveal, but it'd be really good to stay until the end.
Well, I'm really excited about it because one of the things that I've struggled with for the last 20 plus years is, I work with clients one-on-one and they experience that exponential growth, that 4 times, 5 times revenue growth. And that's great. But how do you take that to the masses, to the people who maybe don't have the ability to pay the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's one of the things I'm so excited about, Amanda, is through this partnership, we're going to have an opportunity, you know, for people really pennies on the dollar to be able to get the exact same information and experience that clients who's paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for. So I'm really excited to give people an opportunity to experience that.
Yes. Yes, me too.
So don't forget to register. It's down below the video. Don't forget to give us your comments so that we can create the experience that you want. Let us know what your issues are, what you're struggling with. Amanda and I are both monitoring your comments, and we want to hear them. And feel free to, you know, reach out to us. Tell us what you need.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Deborah. This has been so insightful.
Excellent. Thank you, Amanda. See you on the webinar.
Yes.